Welcome to this tutorial, which is an explainer tutorial and a tutorial with slightly less difficult moves than I've shown in the other tutorials, which hopefully you can try if you are not so good with 5-beat weaves, these positions, or if you're confused and you're like, why is he talking about 5 beats all the time when there's no 5 beats? 5 beats is a weave and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each side. So what the hell is he talking about? So, to explain, there are many ways to do a 2-beat weave, right? Either I can just do it, like I can take a 3-beat weave, and from there I can make two 2-beat weaves. I can loop just the 2-beat weave with right on top, or I can loop just the 2-beat weave with left on top. Now when I have a 5-beat, there are 4 weaves that I can do. Yeah, the same 2, like in the 3-beat weave, plus new one. If I loop the side points, the end points, 1, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 5th beat from which you can do a 2-beat weave, which is something I'm showing in the other tutorials very often. And loop that. So you have these two, with right over left, but going under, and left going under right when it's on top of it. One, just this, just that. I am showing this in the 5-beat crossers fountain tutorial, where you are always looping only this 2-beat weave out of the 5-beat weave. The 5th beat looped into 2 beats, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then adding some extensions and folding over, which can be done in backwards as well. So this is something that you've seen in the tutorials quite often recently. Now, this can also be done with the more simple weaves. So, like I said, we can loop just this and just that. I can apply the same technique that I do with 5-beat with just the 2-beat, and it looks like this. For instance, in backwards with right on the left, or with left on the right, or in forwards with right above left, or left above right. You see, this is a very interesting move. There's a lot of isolation going there. I'm tracing the body in a way. I'm opening up, changing the speed. I can really get into the flow with this. And yet, it's only a 2-beat weave. Yeah, there are so many 2-beat weaves, so many things you can do with it. So, let's start with the forwards one, with left above right one, which is one of my favorites. So you just start with a 2-beat weave when your left is on top of right hand. Now, your right stays locked under the armpit, and it's doing just the most simple 2-beat weave that you can imagine. And left is doing this movement, where it goes above the shoulder and front, above the shoulder and front. So instead of just a weave like this, it goes slightly extends here in front, and then goes above the shoulder. And those two things combined result in this. You can see that there's like isolation here, where I could almost catch the poi. I can actually catch it like this. The hand, the poi are going together with the hand, and together they go from one side to another, such as this. Nice, and that's it. With this you can play around a lot. I can do the same thing with my right on top. So if I now had left on top, now it's going to be right. So before I was kind of turned to one side, right? I was standing like this, and I'm not doing it completely like facing the direction of my poi. I'm doing it on the side, which is really important to note, because then you can combine it with these other ones on the other side and do fountains and things. So don't just stand like this and like this. Now, if you have the other hand on top, the right hand on top, so you need to turn to the other side a little bit. And so simply left locks under my armpit, doing the most simple weave you can imagine. And right is doing the same thing that left was doing before. So kind of extends, above the shoulder, extend, above the shoulder, extend, above the shoulder, extend, shoulder, up. So we've got these two things that we can loop. We can turn with them. We can play with how much we get in the flow. Up, up. Right on top, left on top. Right. So this is in forwards. Now, in backwards. Now again, one hand stays locked in as the other one is doing things. And just like before, the static locked hand is under the other. So say now I'm taking my right hand, now I will show you like this. Taking my right hand, putting it under left. So I'm just doing this 2-beat weave with left on top. And as the left transitions from left to right, I'm taking it above the shoulder, following the direction of the other poi. The hand is kind of following the other poi, as you see. Left sort of chasing right poi. And so I'm going across, kind of extend. Across, extend down. Across, extend down. So again, I could stop here, because there's this nice moment which makes this trick look good, where I am going, like the poi are going close to the head. And right, goes across. Since I like to say always, every time you have this thing, every time you have this thing above the shoulder, you can always turn it into that. So that applies to this case as well. Up and do this. Doesn't change anything for the other hand. My right is still going, it's the most simple weave you can imagine. While left can go either just above the shoulder or above the neck. Yeah, and also with the other hand. So now we have right under, so it's going to be left under, and lock in the armpit, while right, as it goes from right to left, goes above. It is the left hand that's leading, that goes first, and right follows, goes above the shoulder, and crosses to the other side. So then you can combine these two together, which is not so important. These moves are not about combining, like doing them somehow too symmetrically, or at least for me. This is more like I'm spinning, and I will get into this just for some moment, and then I will continue. And perhaps to combine them, I would really turn from one side to another. So now facing you, facing the sea, facing you. Yeah. So now these were 4 weaves, 2 in forwards, 2 in backwards, where there was one common move. This one, right? I was always going above the shoulder, either in forwards or backwards. Now, there's the same thing, but down below. It's tracing the hip. So that means that I've got another 4 weaves, where another 4 2-beat traced weaves, simple ones, that I can do down below using the same technique. So let's go through them quickly. So now the locked hand was always the one under the other hand that was doing the tracing. Now it's vice versa. So it's this that I'm showing you, which you can do with different feelings, a little bit like different, expressing just a little different movement. However, the principle stays the same. So I'm starting with my right on top of left, and now it's going to get locked above my armpit in so-called shoulder, and left hand is doing the weave down below. Now the important thing, the difference between just doing the weave like this and doing it here, is mainly that the left hand, I twist my shoulder in and I do this type of weave, which you may know from doing windmill, watermill, or whatever kind of reel. So that's just important to note, so you don't do it like this with the palm up, but you twist the palm in, and you can almost like touch your hip and your leg, So this is the step 1, facing this way and I'm standing parallel with my plane. And then I can start playing with extending the left hand. So you see that right goes first to the other side. It's right, left, always pushing is first. And now I'm putting the hand, I'm pulling it up into my armpit, and there's this like kind of isolation going on. It's just this, you can practice the left hand only, going under and up. Yeah, and again, I can really play around with this. And yeah. Now the same thing with the left hand on top. So now left hand is locked in, above my shoulder. And right is doing this turn down here. And you can just stay like this. If I was showing you, left hand on top. It's locked, and now it's the right hand that I'm playing with. And I'm extending it here, extending, shortening, extending, shortening, extending, shortening. So again, it goes under, palm facing the hip. And it's the left hand leading, left, right, starting from the weave with left on top of right. So that was 2 in forwards. Don't forget, always turn with it. So if you're practicing with left on top of right, you're still facing this way. If you want to practice the other one, you have to change direction, do it on the other side, or you have to turn completely to the other side. Yeah, it's just an important thing. Now the last 2 weaves, same idea, but in backwards. So again, the hand stays locked in above. Again, the palm is not facing up like this, but it's facing my hip, just like if I was doing a simple backwards reel, like in a watermill or whatever. So I've got my right locked in a 2-beat weave above the shoulder, it's not moving. And choose how I want to do it. If I want to somehow more like get this point under, like sort of bring it close to my armpit, and there's this kind of isolation. Or if I want to extend it and bring it as low as possible. And the last one, now we had right on top of left. So we're going to have left on top of right. Right goes under, just doing this weave here, and up. Same principle for all these moves. It's 2-beat weave based on this. But the right now goes extends in front, and goes behind, extends. And I can play with how much I want to get it close to my armpit. Right. So, a little recap. If I have a 2-beat weave, I can choose which hand is on top. And also choose if it's in backwards or forwards. Now, either I can lock the hand which is under. So if I have 2-beat weave like this, I lock the one which is under, or I can lock the one which is above. But then we'll be on the opposite side. Yeah? So this way, I can have 4 weaves where the hand is locked above, just like what I just shown, and 4 weaves when the poi is locked under the other hand. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this and that you're understanding this. It's not too complicated. Don't worry. If you need any assistance, let me know. Send me a video. I can help you. Yeah. And if you succeed, film yourself. Tag me on Instagram. I will repost. Yeah, have fun, guys.